So, good morning friends and my dear children. So, from today onwards, I am going to upload my teaching videos into the channel Perry's Fun and Motivation. And you all are aware of the name of my channel, that is Perry's Fun and Motivation. But recently I have changed the name of my channel as Perry's Study and Motivation. So I'm going to upload my teaching videos into the channel, and with your kind cooperation, I would like you all to support me in my journey. And I have taken this initiative with the request of some parents and with the request of some children also. Some of the students are asking me to upload my teaching videos into the channel. So on the request of parents and on the request of students, I'm going to upload teaching videos into the channel. So I have just modified the name of my channel as Perry's Study and Motivation. Okay, so you all know that this is Lalita Perry, the science teacher. Okay, so my subject is science and basically I teach chemistry. So first of all, I'm going to start with the main important chapter of physical science, that is principles of metallurgy. This is from class 10, right? So today's topic for me is principles of metallurgy. Principles of metallurgy. So this is the topic which children sometimes they feel a little bit difficulty in dealing with that concept, because this is the concept where children has to memorize a lot much memory is required. Okay, so certain kind of concepts where more memory is required, for such kind of concepts we generally go for certain tips like mind mappings, okay, or flow charts, or such kind of tree diagrams and all. If we go for, then it will become easy for us to memorize the concepts, right? Now let us learn the topic metallurgy. Before I start the topic, I am going to tell you one important thing, that is I am not going to teach the whole concept in one video, because every science concept whichever we start, that will be a very big concept, and within one video it is not at all possible. So I would like to make each concept into 4 or 5 or maximum up to 6 videos, and each video length will be almost around 15 to 20 minutes of time, not more than that, right? So in this video I'm going to focus only on the introduction part of principles of metallurgy, right? So metallurgy. So it's a branch of science which deals with the extraction and purification of metals. Okay, it's a branch of science which deals with the extraction and purification of metals. It's a branch of engineering which is having a lot of demand, which deals with the extraction and purification of metals. Extraction and purification of metals. Okay, so you all have learned about metals in class 8, right? Metals are the substances and their properties like malleability, ductility, sonority, electropositivity, such kind of properties and all, physical as well as some chemical properties of certain metals you have learned in class 8, right? So we are not going to discuss any of the properties of course here, but based on the properties only the extraction methods will be depending on. Okay, so metallurgy is a branch of science which deals with what? Extraction and purification of metals. So metals generally available under the earth's crust in combined state. Okay, so under the earth's crust they are available in the form of ores. Okay, I think you have all heard about the word ores. So what are ores? So ores are defined as the substances from which metals can be extracted profitably and economically. The substances from which metals can be extracted profitably and economically. Are called as metals, ores. Okay, the substances from which metals can be extracted profitably and economically. Why I am using these words? You have to be very particular about the definitions of certain terminology. Okay, every science term has a specific terminology. You all have to follow that specific terminology when you are writing the definitions of that concepts, definitions of the terms, right? So the substances from which metals can be extracted profitably and economically are called as ores. Why we are using the words economically and profitably? So ores are generally the mineral deposits which are present under the earth's crust. So if you wanted to separate out the metal from that ore, it means that you need to invest some amount and you need to employ different methods depending on the nature of that particular metal, depending on the melting and boiling points of the metal. You need to apply different methods to separate the metal from that ore. Okay, so generally these all metals are available in the form of ores, like big rocky materials under the earth's crust. Now you wanted to separate them means you need to apply certain methods. So that methods, if you are following that methods, you should be of some use. It should be of some use. There should not be any economical loss. Whatever the investment which you have kept, okay, it must be fruitful and it must be useful to you. Okay, so if you can able to extract the metal with some profit, then that substance is only treated as ore. Okay, so ore is defined as the substances from which metals can be extracted profitably and economically. That is the main definition for ores. Okay, so generally, as I was telling you, that metals can be available in two states. One is native state and another is combined state. Okay, so generally metals are available in native state and combined state. So what are native state and combined state? So native state, first one is native state. What is native state of the metal? Okay, so native state means existence of metal in its own form without the combination with any other element. Okay, it doesn't have combination with any other element. It exists singly. Okay, native state. It can also be called as what? Free state. Native state or free state. So metals exist singly under the earth's crust. Exist in single form, not in combination with any other element. Then you call it as native state or free state. Okay, so what kind of metals will exist under native state or under free state? So metals like gold, silver, platinum and sometimes copper. Okay, gold, silver, platinum, gold can exist in native state. Silver, platinum, okay, and sometimes copper can exist in native state. Why they exist in native state? That means why they don't exist in combined state, not with any other element, is the main reason for this is they are very less reactive. Please remember this point, very important. You'll be getting this for 1 mark questions. Okay, so why they exist in native state? It is because of their less reactivity. Because of their less reactivity. Okay, because of their less reactivity. Of course, the whole chapter is based on the reactivity series of metals. Okay, in the next topic, we are going to learn about the reactivity series also. Okay, so less reactive metals can exist in native state. So the metals which exist in native state are gold, silver, platinum and copper. Okay, now let us learn about the metals which exist in combined state. Okay, so combined state means along with any other element. Combined state. If metals exist with any other element, in combination with any other element, then they said to exhibit combined state. Like for example, aluminium oxide, Al2O3 dot 2H2O. Aluminium exists along with oxygen, and this you call it as bauxite. Bauxite. Okay, so bauxite is an ore of aluminium. So ores always exist in combined state. Please remember that point. So if metals exist along with other elements, you call it as combined state, and if it exists in single form, you call it as free state or native state. Okay, so Al2O3, aluminium existing along with oxygen in the form of an oxide ore. Okay, so these are the different types of ores. Those ever which exists in combined state comes under the category of ores. Okay, so let us learn some examples for ores. Examples for ores. Different examples for ores. So as I already told you, the first one, bauxite. It's an ore of aluminium. Okay, hematite, Fe2O3. Hematite. Okay, hematite. It's an oxide ore of iron. Iron is the main metal existing along with oxygen. Okay, and like this you have so many examples for ores. Okay, MnO2, pyrolusite, pyrolusite, CuFeS2, copper iron pyrites, copper iron pyrites. Okay, only FeS2, iron pyrites, iron pyrites. Okay, iron pyrites. MgCO3 dot CaCO3, dolomite. Okay, dolomite, carbonate ore. Okay, PBS, very important question you will be getting on this. PBS, lead sulfide. Generally in the ore form it is called as galena. HGS, which is called as mercuric sulfide. In the ore form it is called as cinnabar. Okay, mercuric sulfide, HGS. Here Pb stands for lead. Okay, lead sulfide. In the ore form you call it as galena. Mercuric sulfide. In the ore form you call it as cinnabar. Okay, so like this you have so many types of ores are there. Okay, so you have written iron with combination in combination with oxygen, so it's an oxide ore. Here also manganese in combination with oxygen, so it's a oxide ore. Here sulfur, copper iron pyrites is in combination with sulfur, it's a sulfide ore. Even here PBS and HGS also. PBS, sulfide ore of lead. HGS, sulfide ore of mercury. Okay, and here you are coming across CO3, carbonate ores. Okay, dolomite is a carbonate ore. Suppose you can take the example of NaCl. It's a chloride ore of sodium chloride, rock salt, sodium chloride, rock salt. Okay, so like this you have different types of ores in combination with other element. Okay, so there is a tabular form in your textbook and you need to memorize the tabular form, name of the ore and its molecular composition also. Okay, so this is all about ores, different examples for ores. Okay, next we'll move on to the next important topic, ores and minerals. Ores and minerals. I request all children to please make a note of what all teachers says. Okay, if you just listen to the concepts, just they may go into your mind, but they may not get an impression into your mind. But if you make a note of what all teachers says, okay, then definitely that goes into your mind and you can remember that during the time of your exams and you can recollect certain important concepts. So request all students to kindly make a note of what all your teachers says, right? So next topic is ores and minerals. Okay, you have a very important topic here. You'll be getting a very important 2 marks question in this small topic of ores and minerals. Okay, so what is it? What is the difference between ore and mineral? Are they same or anything difference is there? Lot much difference is there. Let us learn that. So ore, as I already told you, the metals can be extracted profitably from it. Let me give you an example. Ore, as I already told you, Al2O3 dot 2H2O. 2H2O, it's bauxite. In the form of ore, it's a bauxite ore, aluminium oxide. The same molecular formula, I will write it for clay also. Clay. The molecular formula for clay, I will write it as Al2O3 dot 2H2O only. Then what is the difference? Bauxite, you are calling it as ore. Then what about clay? Clay is considered only as mineral. It's not considered as ore. Okay, please remember. Bauxite can be called as ore, whereas clay can be considered as only as mineral. Then what is the difference? From bauxite, aluminium can be extracted profitably and economically. Please remember the point. Whereas from clay also consists of same quantity of aluminium as we found in case of bauxite. Same percentage of aluminium. But from clay, you cannot extract aluminium. Whatever the extraction methods which we apply will fail and there will be an economical loss. Okay, so aluminium oxide can be existing in the form of clay also as well as in the form of bauxite also. But clay is called as only mineral, whereas bauxite can be called as ore also. I think you understood the difference. Okay, like for example, you can even take the example of certain minerals which are there in our body also. Our body consists of blood. Blood consists of hemoglobin. Blood is red in color because of hemoglobin. The word hemo stands for what? Hemo. The word hemo stands for iron oxide. Blood is red in color because of iron oxide. So iron is present in the form of mineral in our blood, whereas hematite ore, as just now I have written somewhere here, hematite, okay, Fe2O3, hematite exists in the form of ore. The same iron oxide is present in our blood. That means solid form of iron, is it present in our blood? No. Iron is present in the form of mineral in our blood. iron in our body, as well as in soil, or as well as in some fruits and vegetables, wherever metals you come across, they are present in the form of minerals, and they give nutrients to that particular substance. They act as nutrients, rich supplements which are required for the healthy growth of our body. But they are not present in solid form in our body, right? They are metals, but they are not present in solid form in our body. That's why you don't call them as ores, but you call them as minerals. So from minerals, you cannot extract solid form of metal. Okay, even though same quantity, same percentage of aluminum is present in bauxite as well as clay, but still you can extract aluminum only from bauxite, but you cannot extract aluminum from clay. So from this we can say that all ores can be treated as minerals, but all minerals can never be treated as ores. Okay, so you will also get the question like this only. All ores are minerals, but all minerals are not ores. All minerals are not ores. Okay, you will get this statement and you will be asked to justify the statement. This will be given for 2 marks question. Very important. Most of the times in Telangana question paper, this question is being asked. Okay, so this is the main difference between an ore and a mineral. So I'm going to stop my video up to here. The next coming topics I'll be discussing in the next coming video. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please share the information to all of your friends and family members. Okay, and please subscribe and kindly watch my videos and do comments and like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.